Hey, how you doing? Scotty from scottsbasslessons.com. Hope you're well. I've been getting a ton of questions recently about playing chords on bass. I think it's because I've been putting up some of my solo arrangements on Facebook. So I thought it'd be a cool idea to share a lesson from the Academy. We've got a full course in the Academy that's focused on chords. It's over 5 hours long, step by step. And I thought I'd share a lesson, and this specific lesson is about thinking like a piano player when you're playing bass, and it's all about voice leading. It's a really cool lesson. You'll get a ton from it, even if you're just starting out playing chords. It'll give you a few things to think about. So if you haven't checked out the Academy yet, I've put the link below this lesson. Just shoot on over and check it out. We've got tons of step-by-step courses, a huge community. We do live seminars every week with guys like me, Anthony Wellington, Steve Lawson, Todd Johnson, Danny Mo Morris, ton of cool guys. And we're having a real scream over there. There's nothing else like it, really. So go check that out after the lesson, and hopefully I'll see you on the inside. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the shed. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about voice leading, and this is essentially, you need to start thinking like a piano player. And I when I was in the last lesson right at the end, when I went completely off topic and started, playing around with chords and stuff like that, this is kind of the beginning to that. It's getting into, instead of playing chords like this, okay, instead of doing that, we can't do that in a real situation. That's just getting used to the shapes and learning the neck and that thing. What I'm talking about now is how you do this in a real situation, and how to just get into really making these chords happen in a real way, And this is how piano players think when they play a C major 7 chord. They don't go C major, F major. They don't do that. They play C major and they just change a few notes, the minimal amount of notes, to make it an F major. And then they might go to that E flat major. And again, they only change the minimal amount of notes. And it's real good fun. And what we're going to be doing in this lesson is using these types of shapes, but in a voice leading way. And I'm going to talk you step by step, really slowly, okay, how to do this. This is something that will happen naturally once you've been playing chords for a year or so, maybe less, depending on how many hours you put in. But it does take a lot of time, because the visualization aspect of it is quite heavy. So let's start. We're going to look at Autumn Leaves, first 8 bars, and we're going to play it twice round actually, and just move down the neck. And we're going to, the voices, when it says voice leading, it means the voices of the chord, the roots, the thirds, the sevenths, the roots, sevenths and thirds. Voice leading means going one to the other, moving through the chords, moving the minimal amount of notes possible, okay? So, obviously, we start with C minor 7 in this position, and the next chord is an F dominant 7, okay? And in the last module we did this, okay, between the two, C minor 7 to F dominant 7. But we don't need to do that. Let's think like a piano player. Okay, we've got root, third, 7. Now, F dominant 7, there we go, we've got it. And if you think about it, we've gone root, third, 7 on the C minor. It changes to F dominant 7. Well, the root becomes the 5th of F dominant 7. The minor third of C minor becomes the flat 7 of F7. And then we just go down and play the major third of F7 here. And you'll notice that this shape here we're using for the F7, we went over that in one of the lesson a couple of lessons ago, okay, when we were looking at the second inversion. So the chord starts on the 5th, but we got rid of the root. So just that, it's kind of proof that all this stuff we've been talking about, this is it in action, okay? So C minor going to the F7, but that's the shape that we're playing for the F7. Third, 7, and fifth, flat 7 and third. And there's only one note difference between the two chords. C minor, F dominant 7. Now let's look what we can move to make it a B flat major 7, which is the next chord. Well, this note here can stay the same because A is the major 7 of the B flat major 7 chord. But let's get rid of the C, let's move that down to the B flat. And let's move the 7th to the 3rd of the B flat, which gives us this shape. Okay, so we've gone. Now what you'll see is there's a really, really great relationship between 7ths and 3rds. If you look at the C minor, the 7th note of the C minor moves to the 3rd of the F dominant 7. And then the 7th of the F dominant 7 moves to the 3rd of the B flat major 7. Okay, so let's look at these first 3 chords. C minor, F dominant 7, and then we do that for the B flat major 7. Okay? So we're moving notes, but anything we can leave where it is, we leave it. Now, the next chord is an E flat major 7. Can we leave this note on, this B flat? Yes, we can, because that's the 5th of E flat major. Can we leave this note on here? Yeah, we can, because that D is the major 7 of the E flat major 7. Can we leave this on? We could, because it is sharp 11. But I really want it to be like a fundamental note, which is like a root 3rd, 5th or 7. So we're going to move it down so it becomes the 3rd of the E flat major 7. Okay, so we've gone C minor, F7, B flat major 7, E flat major 7. Okay, again, C minor 7, F dominant 7, B flat major 7 to E flat major 7, and this is instead of doing this. Okay, we're now playing. Now we go to the A minor 7 flat 5. So what can we leave on? What can we move down? Okay, can we leave this on? No. Okay, we need to move it down so it becomes the root. So we'll move that down. Can we leave this on? No. So we'll move that down so it becomes the 3rd. Okay, can we leave this on? That's the E flat major 7. Yeah, we can leave that on because that's the flat 7. So this is the chord that we have in place of the A minor 7 flat 5. So A minor 7 flat 5, we haven't got a 5 in there, that's fine. And then we're going to a D7, D dominant 7. Can we leave this note on? Yes, it'll become the 5th. Can we leave this note on? Yes, that'll become the flat 7. Can we leave this note on? No. That 7 needs to go to the 3rd, so we get the 3rd of the D7. Okay, so now we've got C minor 7, F dominant 7, B flat major 7, E flat major 7, A minor 7 flat 5, D7 dominant 7, and now we're going to G minor. Can we leave this on? No, that's going to have to move down to the G. Can we leave this on? No, that's going to have to move down to the minor 3rd of the G. Can we leave this on? No, that's going to have to move down. So here we're not leaving any notes on. That's the first time that's happened in this entire sequence. We'll play the G minor 7 down there. Okay, so let's move down to that G minor. C minor 7, F dominant 7, B flat major 7, E flat major 7, A half diminished, D dominant 7, G minor. And let's be cheeky. And like so far I've been moving all the voices. Every time I could move a voice, it's gone, it's descended, okay? You can do this going up obviously as well, you know, but we're going down this time. ascend that major third. So we're just going to the G minor and then put the major third on there. Now, so we're playing this G major dominant 7 here. The next chord, let's start over the same sequence again and keep going. So it's C minor 7. So what can we keep on? What can we move? This stays on, the G stays on because that will become the 5th. This needs to move down because that isn't in the C minor chord. It needs to move down to the flat 7 here. And then, does this stay on? No, it doesn't. We're going to move that down. So it's the 7. So again, we've got 5th, 7, 3rd of the C minor. Okay, and again, this is one of the shapes that we've been working on in the last lessons. C minor, what can we move, what can we keep when we move into the F7? The only thing that we can keep is this top note here. That will become the flat 7 of F, and we move the other 2 down here. So that we get F7, F dominant 7. So we've gone C minor 7 to F dominant 7. Now we move into B flat major 7. What can we keep on? Can we keep this on? Yes, we can. That will become the 5th. That will become the major 7. The 3rd, this 3rd finger here, we're going to have to make that descend down to the D there. So it gives us the 3rd. So that's a B flat major 7. Again, so here we go. C minor to F7 to B flat major 7. To E flat major 7, that's going to stay the top note, but the other 2 are going to move down to E flat major 7. There's the A half diminished, flat 5, flat 7, and the minor 3rd on top. And then that 7 on top's going to, that minor 3rd on top's going to stay and become the 7th of the D7, but the other 2 voices are going to move down to D7. And then we're going to play a G minor 7. So this 7 again moves down. But this stays the same and this descends down here. So you get that chord. And then the G dominant 7. So you can see how I'm trying to explain this as best I can. And I hopefully you're thinking, okay, so certain voices stay on, certain voices move, okay? It's tricky, this, don't get me wrong, it's tricky, but this is how you've got to think, or this is what you're aiming for, you know, being able to mix these different chords like this. Like I'm being really strict here, moving down, just to prove a point. Okay, I've done this to prove a point and just to show you what voice leading is. You wouldn't essentially play like this on a gig. You wouldn't just go all the way down, you know, you'd use different, you could use that for sections, you know, you could maybe like, you know, you'd mix and match, just like when you're playing a bass line, you mix and match. You don't use one way all the time, but essentially that is, you know, how to use voice leading. Take your time with it, and I'd try and use it with different pieces as well. You know, just to take another piece, you could take once you've done Autumn Leaves, take something like All the Things You Are. Is another great one to look at because you can get some nice voice leading on that as well. Another cool, let me just try and, another cool, just before I go, I'm going off plan here again, is you can use this over 2-5-1s as well. Really like a really nice way of using it. Let's look at a 2-5-1 in the key of C minor, okay? So it's C major. Okay, so these, back in module 1, we learnt these shapes. So D minor, which is the 2 chord, going to G7, which is the 5 chord, to the 1 chord. A really really nice way to use kind of this voice leading and leaving notes, thinking like a piano player over that sequence there, would be to just play that the D minor, and then instead of moving to the G7, just leave the 5th on, because you can leave it on. Leave the root of the D minor on, and when you play the D7, the G7, leave that 5th on there, because that note becomes the 5th. You can do this over Autumn Leaves. We could play C minor like this, and then move to F dominant 7, but we leave the C in the bass because it's still part of the F7 chord. And then we go to the B flat major 7 chord, and then we move to the E flat major 7 chord. Leave that B flat in the bass because it's part of the chord. So instead of going like this, you get A minor 7/5, D7. I've left it in the bass note on that, yeah, and then G minor. Okay, and again, I'll do it here. Yeah, it's just really, that's what we're aiming to think like, so we're moving the minimal amount of notes possible, but still to replicate the sound of the chord. A great guitar player you should check out, 2 great guitar players that are fantastic at this. The first guy is Ted Green, and I have admittedly stolen a lot of my chordal stuff from Ted Green. If you listen to any of the chordal arrangements I've done, like Autumn Leaves, what have I done? Autumn Leaves, My Favourite Things, Smile, them 3 tracks that I've released a few months ago, depending on when you're watching this. We're in 2015 just now, so if you're watching this in 2017, it'd be a long time ago. But I've released 3 chordal tracks, and a lot of the concepts that I use in that are stolen directly from Ted Green. And the other guy is, and there's loads of videos on YouTube, so check them out, he's a beautiful player. And the other guy is Bill Frisell as well, who I've stolen a ton of ideas from, and he uses, them sort of like real nasty kind of crunchy chords. So instead of like a C major 7 like this, like Bill would play something like that. Instead of an F major like this, Bill would play something like that, same chords, just voiced in a different way, and it can make all the difference. So hopefully you've enjoyed this lesson. I know it's been a bit of a heavy one, but yeah, just take your time with it, and just try and learn the visualization elements. When you've learned that, that's when all that stuff will start coming together. And this hasn't come overnight for me. I've worked a lot on this, years and years on this. So don't worry, you will get there. Just keep on taking those baby steps.